Welcome back to Self-Worth Club. I'm your host, Zoe. Today we are starting a new segment on the podcast called Self-Worth Support Line, where you can email me your submissions to yourcoachzoe@gmail.com, and I will leave that in the show notes for you so you have it. You don't have to write it down. But you email me a submission of like a specific scenario you're going through, something you want advice on. You can ask specific questions about the topic. Just explain to me what's going on and what you need. And I will pick certain submissions out that I feel like people could benefit from, read them aloud on the podcast, anonymously, of course, and give you my advice on your situation. I will answer the questions that you put in there and do my best to just coach you through whatever's going on in your life. I'm so excited to get this going because I think that so many of us go through similar situations, and sharing them on the podcast, I'm hoping, can help other people feel less alone in whatever's going on in their life. So, it's, when I think about it too, when I had my miscarriage recently in January, I know I felt like so alone at first, but when I started to share about what was going on with me and my experience, I heard from so many women who had gone through similar situations, and a lot of people reached out to me thanking me for making them feel less alone, and it made me feel less alone too. And so this is just your reminder. You never know what the people around you are going through or have been through in their past. And I bet you're a lot less alone than you feel right now. So let's get into the first submission. This person wrote to me and said, quote, "I struggle with feeling comfortable being alone at times. I have been living with my partner for 12 years and we have 2 kids together. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, but now we both work from home and are working on expanding upon our own businesses. Of course, there are times when I'm alone, like he's somewhere else or the kids are with their grandparents at school, etc. But as far as truly being okay being alone, it brings up a lot of discomfort. The reason why I'm saying this is because the theme has come up lately of you need to be okay with yourself being alone in order to be okay with someone else in a partnership. I never really had the time to be a young single adult who's found herself and discovered who she is. I grew up, got married, had kids all really quickly, so now I'm in the place where I'm figuring all of that out in my 30s. For someone who is figuring out who she is and learning to find security and stability within herself, what do you suggest she do to push through the discomfort of this journey? What can I do to help grow as an individual while balancing out being a wife and a mom, especially when life gets crazy and stressors come up?" End quote. Whew. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for sharing that, for emailing me that submission. You know who you are. I hope that you know you are not alone. I know so many people who feel similarly to you, and let's just get right into it. This is actually along the lines of something that I have been talking often about with the people in my circle. And that is like doing the work and growing and healing while you're in a committed relationship. I feel like I hear people so often suggest or say, make sure you do the work before you get into the relationship, before you get married, before you have kids. And that's like cool. Ideally, yes, I would have done that. But what if I didn't and I'm already there? You know? What if that wasn't on my radar until after? Like, now what do I do? And listen, it's okay. There's never a perfect time to do this. There's never a perfect time for these things. We are all on our own timelines, and we have to accept and surrender to it in a way. Wishing we had done the work earlier doesn't do anything for us now. So, my first piece of advice in learning to love your alone time and being alone is flip your mindset. Start to view your alone time as an opportunity for more growth, more self-discovery, new hobbies. It sounds to me from what you wrote that you're craving self-discovery since you didn't get to do it at that time when you were younger, when it feels like most people do. So if you can view every time you're alone as an opportunity, I think you can start to shift that feeling of discomfort pretty quickly. And similarly to you, I didn't I didn't get into it. I didn't do my deep dive into personal growth until after I started dating my now husband. And I got like really into it after we were married. I also used to feel a little uncomfortable being alone because I rarely was. And really, I like to compare this to like starting to exercise a muscle that you've never exercised before. Think about it. It hurts. That shit hurts. It's uncomfortable. You have no clue what you're doing in the beginning. You feel lost. You're constantly sore. But then you start to get the hang of it. You find new exercises that you really love. You get a little bit stronger every day. The soreness isn't so bad, and you actually start to enjoy it. So, hopefully that analogy helps. Step one that I want to give in learning to be alone without your husband or your kids or, whoever's always around in your life is get intentional about your time. Think, what do I want to do? Do you want to learn a new language? Start knitting? Have time for DIY projects around the house? Do you want to build a garden in your backyard? Start reading more? Start working out? Find things that excite you and start blocking out your alone time with intentional activities. Something you can look forward to. And something else a bit slower that I love to do when I'm alone is just sit outside. Sit outside in the sun with my dogs, or go on a walk around the neighborhood, either in silence or with an audiobook or podcast playing in my ear. Like, I just find it so peaceful, and it's something I really, for the most part, just do when I'm alone, so it feels like a treat, And that's that mindset shift there that I was talking about a minute ago. And also think about, like, what is something you used to love to do pre-husband or pre-kids? What are hobbies that you like to pick back up on? This is the perfect opportunity to do that. Highlight the word opportunity. Also, what areas are you looking to grow in right now? You're on that self-discovery journey, you're doing the deep dive. What are a couple topics that you feel like you want to be more well-versed in, that you want to really get into? You can choose to look at this time as an opportunity for study time, to really get into those areas. But again, just getting intentional about it, I think, can help so much. Step 2, create a routine. You mentioned wanting to find a greater sense of stability in your email, and having that sense of stability within yourself can be achieved by creating a routine. So creating a routine for your alone time would be amazing in cultivating this. And an example that I'll give you is when you're alone, you immediately put on your favorite playlist. Put it on in the background, loud on a speaker, or, in your ears. And then you open all the windows in your house. You're setting the mood, right? You start to tidy up your space real quick, make sure things are set up how you want it. You grab a fun drink, you light a candle, you sit down, and you fill in the blank. Putting emphasis on self-care within this routine is really important. That's why I was saying, open the windows, put your favorite playlist on, light the candle, grab the drink, right? Sit down and read, or again, fill in the blank with maybe some of the things I listed above. And again, creating routine or ritual, repeating any time that you're alone is going to help tremendously in feeling stable and less alone. You're going to be excited about that time. You could also create a couple of routines that you alternate between depending on your mood that day. One that gets you outside, like going on a solo date, or one more like the example that I just gave to you. It's a little slow and more self-care centered. I am so tongue-tied today. All right, step 3, Nurture other relationships. I know this one is like, what? But I'm talking about learning to love being alone. But hear me out. So it sounds like you either spend all your time with your husband, kids, or both together, or if you're not with them, you're usually alone. And as you become more comfortable being alone, you might find yourself spending less time socializing. And there's nothing wrong with that, but close connections are still really important. So you could use some of the extra time that you have, the alone time that you have, to catch up with old friends, family, siblings, or even make new friends. Good, healthy friendships enrich your life, and they can actually improve your health. So some things that friendships do for you, good, healthy friendships, is they increase your sense of belonging. They can reduce your stress. They can improve your self-worth, help you cope with traumas, and even encourage you to be the best version of yourself, to keep going on that growth journey, and giving you new ideas for it too. I love my husband and our time together so much, but time spent with my girlfriends is just different. The conversations are different, the vibe is different, what we're doing together is usually different. It nurtures a different side of me. And seeing that side of yourself can help so much in your growth journey and just like learning more about you. Like that self discovery is your growth journey, right? So, something to think about. And a few quick suggestions on places that you could find new friends if there's not many relationships you want to rekindle in your life are searching for events in your area on places like Eventbrite or Facebook, and go and be social, right? Just chat with people, exchange Instagram handles, and just like see if you vibe over time. Maybe that's more of like a long-term plan. You could also plan to go to group workouts or meditation circles, yoga classes, Pilates, that sort of thing. These are great options because it's more intimate and you're usually sat next to a couple of people and you can like kind of scan the room and decide like where you want to be, right? Because you can tell, right? I feel like a lot of times you can tell like friends, you're like, she looks cool, I think I would vibe with her, right? So you can intentionally pick like who am I going to sit next to, and squeeze into a place with people who look like your type of friends. Get to know them a little bit, and again, that's more intimate setting, might be a little bit easier to start conversation. And then the last place I was going to suggest is volunteering. Again, you're in close proximity in something like this. You know they're most likely genuine, caring people, and depending on the type of volunteer program you signed up for, you might already know that you have something in common, like caring for animals if you signed up to volunteer in an animal shelter. So those are my tips on learning to love being alone. Before we go though, I want to touch real quick on one more thing. The end of the email mentioned balancing it all when life gets crazy and stressors come up. Balancing is bullshit. Okay? And I'm sorry to my nephew if you're listening to this, because I normally don't curse like this on the podcast. But everything in life is a constant ebb and flow. Sometimes you're going to need to pour a lot of energy into your role as a wife, or a lot of energy into your role as a mom. Sometimes the role of being a business owner is going to take over and be screaming for attention, right? It's not realistic to strive for an equal balance in every little aspect of your life. Because again, everything is ebbing and flowing. We are always changing. Work is changing. Goals are shifting. Personal obligations change. Things come up. That is life. Instead, I really think that we need to strive for harmony. And real quick, 5 ways to help with creating harmony in your life are: 1, identify and set clear boundaries and uphold those for yourself. Learn how to be your own advocate. Something that is just one of the most crucial self-awareness and self-growth things you can learn is all about boundaries. Side note, if you need help with that, I have a course, a 5-day course all on it. So I can link that in the show notes too for anyone who's like, yeah, I actually need that. I, can't think of my top 5 boundaries if you asked me to. And that's normal, honestly. That's what I'm finding. Most people are a little confused. They think they know it, but when it gets down to it, it's like, actually, help. Number 2 is learn to say no. Learn to say no. Number 3, delegate where you can and learn to ask for help. You've got people who want to help you. You don't have to do it all on your own. Number 4, practice time management skills. And number 5, limit overworking. Those things should help with the harmony in your life. But if you want more on that topic specifically, I have an episode, if you scroll way down, called Work-Life Balance. And that can go over all of that in more depth for you. So that's a wrap for today. I hope that you got some valuable advice from this episode. If you did, please screenshot and share it on social media or send it straight to your friends. You would be surprised, but I rarely hear from podcast listeners. Even though each episode gets like on average 50 something listens, I don't hear from anyone. It's like a ghost town in here. And I love when I do. On the rare occasion that I do, like, see a screenshot or get a text about it, like, it seriously makes my entire day, maybe even my week. Like, I think about it, I use it in content, I'm smiling all day. It's just, it lights me up and it keeps me excited about creating more content for you, because right now, this is just like something I do because I love to help people, and the reviews from you is the only thing I'm getting back from it. So please let me know if you listened, if you loved it. I would love to hear from you. And just a PS to emphasize, if you have a specific topic that you want advice on, to ask me questions about, email me right now before you forget. The email is in the show notes for you. And maybe you'll be the next self-worth support line topic. I'll see you next time. Bye.